nerding out about?
Well, thanks for asking, Joe. This thing called Dragon Con's coming up, and I've taken a couple of weeks off. I have been stacking that time up. I still have actually a lot of time left to burn for another trip in the future here very soon. Some friends moved back to England, and we are going to take that. And
Oh, that'll be fun.
yeah, that'll be fun. But um, I have going down, I'm just going to go ahead and drive. And I've driven to Atlanta several times, and it's just straight down, about a 10-hour drive roughly, right
Okay.
through Chattanooga over Mount Eagle Mountain. And I decided to take a bit of a dog leg and go first and visit a friend of mine from college. And he and I, we still stay in touch after all these years. We were roommates for years. I would put him at the best friend, and then I'm gonna continue across a little bit to Ohio, and I'm gonna do some camping. And
Okay. So you're making a whole trip out of it, not
yeah,
just Dragon Con.
absolutely. And then after that, I'm gonna go see the world's largest steel self-supporting expansion bridge or something like that.
Oh, okay.
It's on the way. Why not, right?
So when does your journey actually start then?
Monday. So on Monday, I
okay.
will drop my daughter off at school, and I will drive through St. Louis, and I may stop and visit a friend of mine in there. And then I'm just going to continue on because my friend Sean, he lives in Indiana, and he doesn't get off work until 2:30. So it's about perfect. It's about 2-3 hours, or that's going to be about a 6-7 hour drive roughly.
Okay. Okay.
So that'll be a nice, perfect stop, visit him for a while, go on. And then I'm going to go to Shenandoah Valley. There's a national park there, and there's a really nice little campground there. I will be right on the Appalachian Trail, so I'll be able to walk over and say I walked the Appalachian Trail. Yes.
Or at least part of it.
We won't talk about that. Well, I'll have walked on it. And anyway, and then I'm going to head, then that'll be Wednesday morning, and I'm going to head down, and I'm going to stop. Very important stop. Many years ago, on our way to Myrtle Beach on a Sunday, we accidentally found the Bush Bean Welcome Center, their headquarters.
Bush beans, okay.
Yes. The funny thing about it was, when I say an accident, I said, hey, we just get on the interstate, but why don't we take this nice little scenic route around this way and then hit the interstate? So it's, a little extra time. And the whole time I heard about it, this is adding time to our trip. We need to get there. But then we found the bush beans, and my daughter, especially in those days, she loved bush beans, baked beans. Oh, she is like, she's an aficionado. And that was, she came home. I mean, she made the promised land, but they were closed, unfortunately.
Oh,
so
no.
I'm like, well, we'll be on the way. Why not stop there, get some swag, get a picture, actually walk into the building and, do a B&E. So, and then I'm going to head on down, and I'm going to hang out, and Phil has been very gracious to allow me to crash one night there, because I know that Charles is working out some logistics, and I think then you and I are going to meet in person Thursday.
Yeah.
And that'll be exciting. So I'm going to have quite the adventure. And then there's Dragon Con, which is his own adventure.
Yep. Yeah, like we were talking before we started, Dragon Con is what you want it to be, because there is so much going on at any given time there. Random kid. Too many beans would make for a miserable road trip.
Oh, that could be, I'll buy a can, okay? I can go to the store and buy a can. Why would I buy it there? How about I'm sure they have some really fun T-shirts or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
Get a hat.
So there's been a couple of different times when I was growing up where we drove from Washington State to Pennsylvania to visit family. Because, driving is a lot cheaper than buying a whole family of plane tickets, and there was one time though when my sister had the worst gas. My my dad was one of those people, one of those guys that we don't stop unless it's at like a gas station. So if you need to use the bathroom, you wait till we need to stop for another gas station. But he made an executive decision to stop at a Walmart and buy some Gas X for my sister because it was horrible.
He needed to stop. Isn't it here?
Yeah, no, it was bad. So
That's
yeah,
terrible. That is a terrible event to happen. I mean, I think we've all been there. Man, yeah.
yeah, yeah. One of those trips we made with our Bobcat.
I remember you talking about that. That
Oh
is a
man.
heck of a story.
Yep.
Yeah, you're talking about like the sleep in the back window.
Yeah. Because
You like to sit on your neck too, I believe. I think you said too.
yeah, so he would sit on your shoulder and lick your hair, and he had it wasn't like a typical dog or cat tongue because they've got rough bits.
Yeah.
They're rougher than human tongues, but it was almost like sandpaper, the bobcat tongue. But no, he would lick your hair, and I have no idea why. I'm sure there was a reason, but yeah, he would just sit up there and lick your hair.
Taking care of his little Joe.
So
Apparently, beavers, people who do beaver rescue, the beavers, they love to nibble with their, the hair. There's a preening thing they do. So I'm sure it's something similar. My wife and I, when we were dating, we went to friends down in Springfield, Missouri. They have a big, giant conservation exhibit down there. And they had an exhibit of bobcats, which, like you said, they're kind of like, to an extent, giant cats to an extent, house cats, sort of. And these kids are at the window. They're like, oh my gosh. And they're looking at them and they're like, oh, and the cats are just, we don't care. What are you doing? And of course they're trying to tap on them, do whatever. And the bobcats do not care. And I took my belt off. I'm like, wandering around this exhibit, and I pull it across the ground in front of that, and then it's going, oh, and the kids are like, oh my gosh, the kids don't have a belt, and so they're beside themselves because they can't do what I'm doing. Because then I do it a few times, and then I walk away, and the kids are like dragging their hand along. That's not the same. It was kind of really fun, actually. But yeah, they're kind of. A lot of people have them. Well, I've had them. Actually, my coworker, his brother raised one. And when he got to a certain age, because it was, domesticated enough that he couldn't really release it to the wild. And he lives in, not in Maine, it was New Hampshire. It's one of the Northeast, and they won't let you keep them. And but they said it's okay to give them to preserve or whatever. And so he did. And his brother's, by the way, his brother's name is Bob, and he will go to that preserve every so often. He would visit that bobcat, and the bobcat, again, I don't care about all you people, just apathetic to the whole situation. But when he walked up to that, he said he walks up to that fence, the bobcat knew him. Yeah, you act like a cat rolling around, and people are like, oh my God, they are beside themselves. What's going on? Because up until that moment, didn't care. So they're really kind of neat. Boy, but man, when they scream, that's a noise, especially at night. Wow. But you ought to know.
Yeah. Troublemakers.